I am going to give you a brief overview on how you can use your R Blend bundle that you purchased from Buzzworthy Literacy to support your students' phonics instruction, as well as pushing R Blends into the areas of phonological awareness, fluency, vocabulary comprehension, and then we also have an extension activity. All of our activities follow the sequence of Recipe for Reading. Recipe for Reading is a book that you can purchase through Amazon that will help you have a reference for teaching phonics skills. So this activity would only contain R blends and then previously learned phonetic concepts for our student, or it can just be used to support R blends if you're not following that sequence. The packet comes with a lesson plan, so I'm going to briefly go through the activities in the lesson plan and then highlight if there's anything unique that you might want to do or reinforce with the student. The first activity supports phonological awareness. It's called Dot the Sound, and the purpose of this is so students can connect that a blend, for example, FR, is actually two sounds, but we blend those letters together to make us more fluent when we're reading and spelling. So I'm going to say the word, and the student would dot the sounds as they're producing those sounds. So this is your phoneme segmentation. Here the word is crib.
Crib. B. Crib.
Good. How many sounds?
There was 4 sounds.
Very good. So you could go through all of these with the student. Our next activity is a phonics activity, and it's a little puzzle game. So you'll have pictures of words that contain R blends, and I recommend laminating these just so you can use them over and over, and then you'll cut out the puzzle pieces. I like to lay the pictures out in front of the student and then all of the spellings at the bottom. So this is a picture of a
frog.
Okay.
FR.
Says
Fr.
Og. What's the word?
Frog.
Good. So make sure you have the student verbalizing those sounds as they're putting those words together. So I think the package has like 15 different words for the student to spell. Our next activity is a fluency activity, but prior to reading that passage for R blends, the passage is going to contain some multisyllabic words like frantic, impressed, traffic, and problem that contain R blends. So to set your student up for success, I recommend going through the process of decoding or introducing them to these words prior to reading. So we will decode one word as an example for you. Let's look at this one. Find your first 2 vowels, underline, label with a V, draw your bridge. How many consonants on the bridge? And syllable wall, so she's going to split that into syllables. Is this one open or closed?
Closed.
Closed off by a consonant. Open or closed?
Closed.
Good. Read it.
Traffic.
Traffic. What is traffic?
When a bunch of cars get stopped and none of the other cars can go.
You're right. So we could also talk about vocabulary there. We had already decoded the word frantic. We talked about that means when you're running around crazy, right? You might be late for something and you're frantic. So I had also picked that word frantic as I figured that would be a new word for most students for them to do a vocabulary activity with. So we could write the definition, make a personal connection to a time we were frantic. When's the time you were frantic?
When I was after school, I was running late for dance, and I had to frantic around my house to get changed, get my water done.
And then they'll also come up with some synonyms. So I could do both of those activities prior to reading my passage, which is called the Frog Prom. And before the student reads the passage, I always like to have them go through and highlight words that contain R blends. And as they're highlighting them, I have them read those words. What is this word?
Frog.
Okay, you can stop. So we would continue that. We would highlight all of our R blends, then read the passage. You will have comprehension questions that you could do aloud with your student after reading, or the student can write those answers out also. Then we have another vocabulary activity called Close the Gap. And this also supports reading. So the student would read the sentence and then fill in that missing word. So it said a blank is green and hops. So they would pick frog from the word bank up here and fill that in. My mom was frantic this morning because she was running late for work. So that could be done independently, or you could work through that with your student. And then there is also a creative writing piece. So the student would choose as many words from the word bank that contain R blends as they could and create a story of their own using those words. And then the last activity is an extension activity. It's a bingo activity with R blends. You'll have 4 different bingo boards. You could do this whole group, small group, or one-on-one. And we like to use the dot paint for the bingo, but the student could certainly just mark out their sound. So this is just to work on the sounds of those R blends. So I'm going to say the sound first. Sound is stra.
Stra.
And as she dots it, she's going to tell me the letters.
S-T-R, stra.
Spells stra.
Spells stra.
Good. Bruh.
Bruh. B-R, spells bruh.
Good. So just think about getting your student verbalizing as much as you can. They're seeing it, they're marking it, they're verbalizing. That's what makes it multisensory. Thanks so much for your purchase, and we hope you enjoy your activity.